just real excited about the week ahead for us. Our team continues to grow and learn and get better every week, and luckily we've been accumulating some wins while doing that. And obviously, a lot's going to be built up on this game, as it should be. Idaho's a tremendous opponent with a really great coach, and they deserve all the recognition and ranking and all the hype they're getting. They're much deserved. So hope with school starting and the hype around the game should be a fun weekend in Davis, and our guys are looking forward to the challenge. I think so. I know that me and Coach Thompson at Sac State, when we were together, we used to talk about how hard it was for coaches to come into the Big Sky that didn't have a lot of knowledge of it, just understanding how difficult some of the road trips are and how good the teams are, how well coached they are. So I don't think it gives me any of a better chance, but I do think it's nice to have that knowledge ahead of time as you're preparing for teams, just having a little bit of a go-ahead for what you're going to expect.
What specifically is Idaho doing well?
Well, that's a long list, Bob. I'd say, number one, their defense is outstanding. If they're not the best defense in the country, I would imagine they're one of them. Their defensive line is 6, 7, 8 guys deep with guys that could play at any level of college football. Their linebacking core is extremely physical. Secondary flies around offensively. They've played multiple quarterbacks, haven't skipped a beat. Running backs are talented. 2 really good wide receivers, and one of them might be one of the best in the country. Obviously, their head coach is involved in the offense, so they're a former O-line guy, so their offensive line is very stout. And I think they're a solid special teams unit. So I know one of the groups had them ranked number 1. I don't think I would argue that in regards to how good they are. They deserve it, and they've made it tough on every team they've played. They've beaten an FBS opponent, almost beat a Power 4 power team, a top 5 FBS type team. So they deserve all the recognition for sure. I think the positives would be that we had a team that fights, a team that believes in each other, finds ways to win. Really pleased with our defensive flexibility and being able to overcome a lot of the injuries and adversity we've seen on defense. Been really pleased with the growth in special teams. I mean, from game 1 to game 4, I feel like we've taken some huge strides there. And been pleased offensively that we've been able to move the ball consistently against everyone we've played, and that Lan, I think, is top 5 in the country in all-purpose yards, and Miles is top 5 in passing yards, and so we got some balance there. Things I'd like to see us improve. Obviously, our red zone offense has been a sticking point for us. It's just been something we haven't been able to get over the hump yet. I believe that's coming at some point. Just got to keep getting down there and making better decisions and better play calls and all that. But the fact that we've gotten down there so much is also a good thing. We'll get that right. Defensively, I just think staying focused throughout the entirety of the game and not taking series off here or there, pushing ourselves to be great, not just good. And then special teams wise, just making sure that we got complete buy-in from all 11 that are in there. And I think if we can improve those still as the season goes, we'll be a tough team. I think it's kind of a cyclical thing. I'd like to say there's like one great answer, but I've been on some teams that just happen to be clicking down there, and I've been on some teams where it just gets a little hard. I think we've just been in some weird situations in regards to, first and goal at the 9, first and goal at the 10. Those are difficult. The first play's got to be successful. Now you're second and goal at the 9. We've had some touchdowns called back because of penalties. And I think it really boils down to just our efficiency offensively to execute the play called. More importantly, the run plays and making sure we can run the ball. When everybody knows we're going to run the ball, we have to be able to do that. Those are the good red zone teams. So I think it's important whenever you're struggling at something not to make it, one of those things you talk about all the time in your meeting rooms, because I think it creates anxiety for your team. So for us, it's just, hey, let's all do this together. It's my job to help you as the coach. Let's find some solutions so we can be more efficient down there and don't need any hero ball, just guys executing a little bit better, and I do think it'll turn around. And once we get over that tough stretch we've had, I think we'll break through and it'll feel like it hasn't been a problem. But we got to get that done, obviously. Yeah, I just think it means a lot to have the support of the community and the students, and I think we've always had community support, which has been great. I think the student support is what I really challenge the people here to get involved with. And, I was walking around campus yesterday handing out tickets, just trying to get people to come to the game. So it's a different feeling when you are – I can tell you firsthand, I was part of the first game here. When I walked down the tunnel and saw every seat filled on the student side, it sent chills into your body, and it felt so good. And I've also walked down that tunnel when there's nobody on the student side, and I know how that feeling is too. So that was really cool for our guys to see that rally Friday night and then see the students turn out on Saturday night, and obviously the community. And then hopefully we can continue to grow that this week with obviously a great team coming in here. It should be a fun atmosphere. But we have been the most kind and supportive hosts in the history of college football, and it's time for us not to be as generous of a host and make it difficult on our opponents. And I'm going to put all the pressure on our students to make it a tough Saturday for the Vandals if they can. Yeah, know Coach Eck well. I've always had a lot of respect for him from his South Dakota State days into now being the coach here at Idaho. I look back to 2018 when we played him here. Thought Idaho was going through a real rough stretch. To see what he's done in a short amount of time is truly remarkable leadership by him. Got a chance to spend some more time with him at the Big Sky coaches meeting out there in Spokane, and just had a great time hanging out with him and his wife. And I just think he's a great leader, great coach, does a great job. And we joked about this game, months ago. So hopefully he remembers that and takes it easy on us on Saturday. I always look at it in what does the field goal give us, right? So in that scenario, we were up 6-0. Field goal got us up 2 scores. So what does the field goal provide us? It provides us a 2-score lead. If we would have been 4th and goal from the 2 and it would have been 9-0 and a field goal keeps it a 2-score lead, then I don't view it as important. So I think every situation's unique, and how you're feeling offensively, right? We hadn't really run the ball that well, and just where we're at on the field, all that kind of comes into play. Thought it was important to give from a 1-score lead to a 2-score lead at that point. Yeah, I don't ever look at it that way, Bob. I think it's more about just, how well we play, respect for all the opponents. You watch the teams on film, and you're going to always find something good about every team and something you hope you can take advantage of on every team. So whether we play them now or play them later, I'm just happy we're playing the best teams, and every week in the Big Sky is going to be a challenge. So whether it's first or last, I wish we could play all of them. That's the tough thing about having a 13-team conference. I wish we could play everybody, but I'm excited for the game, and I think any of the Big Sky games I'm excited for, and I know how tough all of them can be. So happy to have this one at home, though, for sure. Yeah, I mean, it's been discussed multiple times. I think the tough part about if you were going to split it up is just how you would do it, and then how many games are you going to play, because we're not going to have a conference championship game, like an FBS team might have, so because of the playoffs and when they start. So I think that what they do a great job of is they make sure you play the rival teams every year. So for us, obviously, we get to play the team down south and the team across the causeway, and then to get the different teams every year is kind of fun. Who we got this year, who do we don't, and sometimes that can work in your favor, sometimes it can work against you, but you still got to beat the teams that are on your schedule. Yeah, I mean, I think as good as he is, I think they're all extremely talented. I think number 1 and number 52 are the 2 guys that probably jump out on screen the most, but I think 15's good. I think 51's good. I think 5's good. I mean, they got a lot of good players there. But, yeah, I think number 1 and number 52 are the guys that obviously jump out on film, and you better have a plan for them. I think early on some of the FBS teams probably overlooked how good those guys are and got exposed. So, it's funny, back in 2018 they had a great DN too. I don't think we blocked them all game. So luckily we've played some good DNs already this season and some good D tackles, some good D lines. Hopefully we're battle tested, and I know our guys are looking forward to the challenge, but if we better have a good plan for dealing with guys like that, or they could ruin the game. I mean, just on film, I would say they're as good or better than any D-line I've seen in the Big Sky in my long time of being in the conference. If there's a better D-line in the last decade, I'd like to see it. But I think they're pretty talented. And I think they're talented because they're deep. They got the standout guys, obviously, but when they take those guys out to get a break, you're not seeing much of a drop off. And they all get after it in the pass rush and in the run game. And so I think it's a total unit buy-in by them, and they're tough. You know, one of the guys I thought was fun to see was Gavin Cook. You know, we've been just so down at safety, and he's kind of the third guy now. We've played at that boundary safety spot, and he made a couple of big hits and had a great interception, obviously. So was really, really proud of Gavin for what he was able to accomplish in the game. Continue to be really impressed by Mateo Perez. I mean, it's tough being behind Lan Larison and getting your run, but thought he had a real football intelligence play on the punt return. That was real momentum there before half. Caught a couple passes. Just kind of does his thing, thrives in his role, which is, you know, kind of the ultimate Aggie pride guy, right? That he just kind of thrives in whatever role you give him. So those two guys probably.